Good morning, students. Yesterday we already started with the structure of human eye. Today that is continue of the structure of human eye. What are the parts are present in the human eye? The first part of the human eye. The first part of the human eye, it is known as that is sclera. It is a white part. The second part, it is known as a choroid layer. That is a pigmented layer. Okay, it is consists of blood vessels. The third part of the eye is known as a retina. It is a nervosa. It is a nervous part. Today you are going to discussing about the third part of the retina. After then we can discuss. You have to discussing about the. You are going to discussing about the that is mechanism of the vessel. Mechanism of the vessel. Today you are going to discussing about the third part of the eye is known as a retina. What is the third part? The third part of the eye is known as a retina. What is the third part? Retina. The third part of the eye is known as a retina. The retina, it is the third part of the eye. It is consist of photoreceptor cells. The retina consists of photoreceptor cells. Retina consists of photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells. Retina consists of photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells. What are the photoreceptor cells? These are the photosensitive cells. The photoreceptor cells means photosensitive cells. Sensitive cells. Photoreceptor cells. They receive light. Okay. The two types of the photoreceptor cells are present in the retina. The first photoreceptor cells, rods. The second cells is known as a cones. Rod cells, cone cells. These rod cells consist of one important rod cells and cone cells. These are nothing but photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor, rod cells, cone cells. The rod cells, it consists of one important pigment. It is known as a rhodopsin. What is the pigment? Rhodopsin. What is the pigment? Rhodopsin. Pigment present in the rod cells. Okay. The cone cells consist of iodopsin pigment. What is the pigment? Iodopsin pigment. It consists of iodopsin pigment. Okay. These rod cells are helpful for they can observe the night time, means dim light or tilt light. These rod cells, it is helpful for the rod cells. It is helpful for the observe the vision of the tilt light. Tilt light means dark light. They are helpful for the night time. Okay, cone cells, they are helpful for the daytime. Which cells are helpful for the you can observe the any image. You can observe the daytime. In the daytime, which cells are helpful for the cone cells. Which also cone cells. These cone cells are observe the identification of the colors. And also helpful for the identification of the colors. These cone cells, okay, three types of cone cells present in our eye. Okay, the first cone cells, second cone cells, third cone cells. What is the first cone cells? Red cone cells, and it is the blue cone cells. The next cells, green cone cells. The green cone cells. You can observe the different types of color, because of cone cells, because of the cone cells. These red cone cells are also known as erythrolobe or erythropigment. What is it? Erythropigment. It is the cyanopigment. What is the pigment? Cyanopigment. What is the green means? Chloropigment. Chloropigment. These three colors, the combination of these three colors, it gives rise to the, you can observe any color, you can observe the color, you can identify different colors because of the, you can observe the different colors. The main reason is the cone cells are present in our body. The cone cells present in our body. Coming to the rod cells. The rod cells, see here, the rod cells, rods. What is the name? The rods. What is the rod cells? Rod cells and cone cells are consistent. It is the rhodopsin and idopsin. Rhodopsin and idopsin. It is the rhodopsin. Again, dissociation means separated. The rod cells are again, once the light pass into these cone cells and rod cells, they are separated. Once the light is passed into the eyes, means the eyes consists of photoreceptor cells. Once the light is induced, it is activation of these rod cells and cone cells are separated. See how they will separate it. The rods and cone cells, it is a combination of the it is the rhodopsin. What is it? Rhodopsin. Okay. Opsin. Okay, opsin. Rhodopsin. Opsin. Okay, opsin. And there is one combination, opsin and retinol. What is it? Retinol. Okay, retinol, it is the aldehyde derivative. It is the aldehyde derivative. It is the aldehyde derivative. Aldehyde retinol means it is the vitamin A derivative. It is the vitamin A derivative. What is the vitamin A derivative? What is the combinations of the rod cells and cone cells? Opsin plus retinol. What is the opsin plus retinol? Retinol means it is the aldehyde derivative, vitamin A derivative. If you observe the rod cells, these are the, what is the color of this rod cells? Visible purple. What is the color? Visible purple. What is the color of this? What is the color of the rod cells? Purple color. What is the color of the rod cells? Purple color. What is the color of these rod cells? Purple color. Okay. This retina consists of the what is the cells? Photoreceptor cells, rod cells, cone cells. Rod cells means rhodopsin pigment. Next one, cone cells means idopsin pigment. These rod cells, they help for the, you can observe the night time or dark night. The dark night, it is the daytime, it is the night time. It is helpful for the night time. They are helpful for the night time. These rod cells are also known as a scotopic vision. Scotopic vision. These are nothing but scotopic vision. Scotopic vision. Why we are indicated the rod cells are indicated the scotopic vision. Scotopic vision means they can help for the night time. The cone cells are also known as a photopic vision. What is the vision? Photopic vision. Okay, photopic vision. What is the vision? Photopic vision. Photopic vision. Okay, the cone cells, the different types of cone cells. Erythropigment, blue means cyanopigment, green means chloropigment. Okay, the cone cells consist of idopsin pigment, rod cells consist of rhodopsin pigment. The cone cells are helpful for they can observe the night. They can observe this. Rod cells are helpful for the night time. The cone cells are helpful for the daytime. Identifications of you can observe different types of colors because of cone cells. Because of the cone cells and also the rod cells. What is the color of the rod cells? Visible purple. What is the color of the rod cells? Visible purple. It consists of opsin. What is the pigment? Opsin plus retinol. It is the aldehyde derivative. It is the vitamin A derivative. Retinol. What is the retinol? It is the aldehyde derivative or vitamin A derivative. Coming to the mechanism and also the retina, it is consists of the one important part. It is known as a blind spot and also yellow spot. The yellow spot means it is the anterior part of this retina part. That is anterior part, yellow spot. The yellow spot means it is the macula densa. Ocular tensor. The small depression of the yellow spot is known as the fovea centralis. This fovea centralis is consists of only cone cells. Only cone cells. Okay. The next one, the blind spot. The blind spot means the cone cells and rod cells are absent. The cone cells and rod cells are absent. Whenever the cone cells, rod cells are absent, no vision. The perfect vision, it is the yellow spot because it is consists of cone cells. Okay. And the blind spot, the blind spot, the optic neurons exist into the outside that is the blind spot. The retinal blood vessels enter into the blind spot through the blind spot. Next we are going to discussing about the next, coming to the next one, mechanism of the vision. What is the mechanism of the vision? How the vision you can pass, means light, how the light is passed into the eyes. Mechanism of the vision. Mechanism of the vision. Mechanism of the vision. Mechanism of the next, coming to the next one, the next, that is the mechanism of the vision. It relates to the eye only. Okay, next one, mechanism of the vision. Mechanism of the vision. Mechanism of the eye vision. Mechanism of the eye vision. Mechanism of the eye vision. You can observe eyes. You can observe eyes. You can observe eyes. Okay. You can observe. You can observe the eye. What is this spot? This spot indicate cornea. What is the part? Cornea. This outer thin membrane, the cornea thin membrane, it is known as a conjunctiva. Conjunctiva. What is the part? The thin transparent membrane, it is covered to the cornea, it is known as a conjunctiva. The next part, see here, the next part can indicate next part. The next part is indicate. What is the next part? Is indicate iris. The color part of the eye, iris. This part is indicate pupil. Indicate pupil. The next important part, lens. Do you know? Lens. The lens protected by suspensory ligaments. Suspensory ligaments. The lens are protected by the suspensory ligament. These are the optic nerves. Optic nerves. The optic nerve pass into the brain. It's nothing but visible cortex. Visible cortex is the blind spot. Blind spot. Blind spot. Yellow spot. Yellow spot. Yellow spot is the vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber. This blind spot, the optic neurons enter into the outside, exist in the outside. The blood vessels enter into this spot. The blood vessels. Blood vessels in this spot. Vitreous chamber. It is the humerus chamber. Humerus chamber or aqueous. Aqueous means chamber. Aqueous chamber. See here, the light. Okay, visible wavelength light. Wavelength light. Visible wavelength light. The visible wavelength light pass into the, how they will pass? See here. The visible wavelength first pass into the first. They can touch into the first. They can touch into the conjunctiva. First part, visible wavelength. The next one, cornea. The next one, cornea. The next touch into the pupil. What is the pupil? Next one, iris. After the light pass into the lens. What is the lens? Again, light pass into the retina. What is the retina? What is the fifth part? Retina. Okay, the retina, it is consist of photoreceptor cells. What is the cells? Photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells. What is the photoreceptor cells? Rod cells and cone cells. What is the cells? Rod cells and cone cells. The light pass into the conjunctiva, after the cornea, after the pupil, after the lenses, after then pass into the retina. The retina, it is consists of photoreceptor cells. These photoreceptor cells, they receive the light. They receive the light. Whenever the photoreceptor cell, they receive the light, these cells, they can divide into the opsin plus retinol. Opsin plus retinol. It is they divide into the dissociated, means separated. Dissociation means separated. Dissociation means separation of these rod cells and cone cells. Whenever they are separated, they are activated with the help of sunlight. Whenever they are activated, it is the membrane permeability changes. Whenever the membrane permeability changes, these rod cells, the next they are attached, rod cells and cone cells, they are attached to the rod cells and cone cells attached to the bipolar neurons. Rod cells and cone cells are attached to the rod cells and cone cells. They are attached to the bipolar neurons. After the bipolar neurons, they attach to the bipolar neurons. Attached to the bipolar neurons attached to the ganglion cells. The bipolar neuron cells, they are attached to the ganglion cells. Bipolar neurons are attached to the ganglion cells. The ganglion cells, they open into the optic neurons. Optic neurons they pass into the brain. You can observe any image. Once the visible wavelength pass into the how they will pass here. First one, conjunctiva. What is first one? Conjunctiva. How the light penetrate into the eyes. Okay. In our retina consists of the inside to the outside. Inside consists of ganglion cells. The ganglion cells are connected to the bipolar neurons. The bipolar cells are connected to that is the photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cell. How the light is passed into the first one, the visible wavelight pass into the conjunctiva to the cornea to the pupil to the lens to the next part, retina. The retina consists of rod cells and cone cells. After they receive the light, they can dissociate it, they can separate it. The membrane permeability changes, the action potential entirely changes, the permeability membrane changes, and again the information, the impulse pass into the bipolar neurons. The information pass into the bipolar neurons. Again, the information pass into after the bipolar neurons, ganglions. After the pulmonary neurons, ganglions. Again, these ganglions are they connect to the number of the group of ganglions known as a optic neurons. These optic neurons pass into the information to the brain. The brain is analyze the image. The visual cortex is analyze the image. It is analyze the image. What is the main pathway of the how the light is passed into the eye? What is the first one? Conjunctiva. What is the first one? Conjunctiva. The light, the visible wavelength light pass into the conjunctiva. What is the name? Conjunctiva. After then cornea. After then pupil. After then pupil. After then is the lens. After then photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells. After the photoreceptor cells means retina. After the photoreceptor cells, it is dissociated, they separated. Once they are separated, like opsin and retinal, it is the retinal means it is a vitamin A derivative. Once they are separated, the membrane changes, permeability changes, the impulse pass into these photoreceptor cells to bipolar neurons. The bipolar neurons, the information passes into the ganglion cells. The ganglion cells to the optic nerves. Optic nerves to the visual cortex. The visual cortex present in the brain. You can analyze the image. Analyze the image. How the light is passing to the inside to the outside. Okay, inside to the outside and outside to the inside. Once the light, the atmospheric light, the sunlight pass into in our eye. The outer membrane, it's known as a conjunctiva. Okay, light. Next one, cornea. Next one, pupil. Next one, photoreceptor cells. Next, they are connected to the bipolar. The next connected to the ganglion cells. Next connected to the optic neurons. Next connected to the analyze the wavelength. The light pass into the brain. How will pass into the brain? It is the mechanism of the vision. What is the pathway of the light pass into the outside to the inside? The retina consists of inside to the outside. Inside consists of ganglion cells. After the bipolar. After the photoreceptor cells. After the pass you see here lens. Next one pupil. Next one cornea. Next one conjunctiva. It is the mechanism of the vision. Thank you very much.